I will be I'll be taking a demo on the Oracle EBS key business cycles. Like, even though you are part of EBS, you're not part of EBS, and you just have the awareness of an industrial background, or some other application or some other suit, the business suit, even then you will have a good sense of the session here. So I'll be so as for the agenda, I'll be telling you what all cycles fall into actual business in the real world. So what all it comes and how it is termed in the Oracle EBS way. So I'll be covering the key cycles, and I'll be letting you know what all cycles it falls here, and then I will cover key 2 or 3 important cycles, which is very much important in the business. Okay, so then I will be covering the actual models. It's covered by the cycle, and what are the tables involved as a technical stuff, and I'll just have a glance on 2 more cycles, like dropship and available to promise. Okay, so if time permits, because let's see how it goes, and based on your understanding, then we can discuss in the end of the session. Okay. So actually, as a general, if you consider any business, if you have a knowledge on actual business in the real time, or you have worked on an industrial, or you have a visualization of any industry, how they are going to work, or how the process of their business is going to, it'll be almost similar the way I put up here. Any industry which is a manufacturing, yes, the manufacturing industry will cover all the models, like all the phases of the industry. It's like they buy raw materials, and they do a manufacturing, and they sell the finished product. So usually the manufacturing industries, they act like both as a customer at one moment, and the manufacturer in another moment, and finally a supplier in the final stage. So when you think of that, so they need to plan for what product they need to do. For example, if it takes something like iPhones, so they need to do a planning, like how should be the model, and what the key versions I need to improve, and the key features which are going to be the competition during the market. So they need to study all that thing. Or maybe something like, if you take an example of any car or any vehicle industries, so maybe the car industries, you'll be always thinking like, what should be the model, and what should the design, how we should plan, and what should be the trend in the market. So based on that, you always design and plan yourself, like what should be the product we are thinking of. And of course, when you plan for some product, surely you'll be thinking of what should be the raw materials for that product. So the planning, the very initial steps come for manufacturing is the plan. What you want to plan, what you want to do to make the product. So based on plan, you need a resource, you need a source, like the raw materials, the people, the employees, everything. So then comes the procure to pay session. So once you have something like the concept of the planning, then you will have the forecast, like how many products I should have, and how many days it will take, and when you were supposed to finish the good. Or the same way, when you come to the requirement, you'll have a procure to pay cycle which will tell you how you need to procure the raw material from the outside suppliers and how you're going to communicate with them, how you're going to receive the product, and finally you're going to pay the money for it. And the same thing in between, while in your receive the raw materials, you're supposed to have some inventory, keep your raw materials, and also some inventory, the manufacturing floor where you need to manufacture the product. So the inventory comes into existence, like once you want to start the product, you need to have all the raw materials ready, right? So as the manufacturing floor also demands for what need to be built and what are additional raw materials you need, so that is the demand to build. So once you think that you have done the product, your product is ready for the market, so you're going to do the advertisement or campaign to your product. As you see in the normal television, any product they're releasing almost a month before they start the advertisements. So it is the way to reach the people well in advance and to see how much the recognition and what is the response you're going to get for your product. So once you're in that process, and also you will try to have a contract with additional customers or additional people, or with maybe with the vendors or any other people, like you want to have some sort of contact, maybe for the people who are providing the raw materials. You want to have the contract, like I want to have engage with you almost for 1 year or something. So when you're in the process of, once you released your product, then you receive the orders, so then you come into the order to cash cycle, right? This is the very important cycle, and here when you're doing the product, the procure to pay is a very important cycle. So in the order to cash cycle, it's like you receive an order and how you're going to demand to your manufacturing team, and what promise that you're giving to your customer, and finally you need to ship the product to the customer sites. So, and once it's done and he's going to pay you through a cash or through the whatever the banks, right? So that is the order to cash cycles. So if there is any issues with any product, like once you released your car or your iPhone, there might be customers notice some issues with the product, so then you go for a request for resolution for any issues which is happening. So that is a part of one of the cycle. So I'll not be covering this. This is something related to the HRMS stuff that is may not be required at this moment for you, because we are just focusing on our two basic cycles. So let's come to the procure to pay, the very important cycle when you are a manufacturing industry, or even you can consider yourself, once we are thinking of procure to pay, you should consider yourself as a customer. That is, you are going to buy raw materials from the supplier. So when you are going to buy raw material, you are supposed to create a purchase order for the suppliers. So once they receive your purchase order, then an inventory, that is where they do a production of the raw materials, whatever you're requiring, and they already have it in their inventory. So based on that, so they're going to supply to you, and there is an involvement of the general ledger at each moment, like once your order is completed or you receive the goods, and then once you receive the product, you are supposed to pay them the amount. So it will be part of the record payables. So once the payables is done, you're going to do the management, the cash management, where you're going to reconcile like what are the materials you received and how much the money you paid to them is, everything is matching. So when you're part of you're going to use this raw material and do the manufacturing, so you comes into the order management, that is also now a little bit divided into process manufacturing and discrete manufacturing, right? So when you'll be discussing about order to cash, it is nothing but you place an order, a customer place an order to you, and you're going to fulfill his order as a supplier, right? So when you're thinking of procure to pay cycle, you should place yourself as a customer. That is, you're going to receive a good from a supplier. But when you come to the order to cash cycle, you should place yourself as a vendor or a supplier who you're going to get an order for the products you have in your industry, and you're going to finally fulfill their requirement. So in this cycle, you will have, of course, the orders will be created in order management module, and once orders are created, you are going to give and demand to your manufacturing unit, where you say we have got an order of 100 cars and they want in next 6 months, so please get ready. So the inventory is where they're going to manufacture and where they're going to keep the product, right? So once the product is ready for to ship, and you do the picking of the cars or the iPhones or whatever the product is your industries manufactured, you are going to do a shipping to the customer's place. That may be through the air or through water or through the trucks or whatever the mode of transport. So you are supposed to ship the product to the customer locations. So once you're doing that, and you will come across the receivables, because once customer receives your product and he's supposed to pay you, and once he pays the payment, you're supposed to create a receipt like, yes, I have transported these many products of this quantity, and I have received this much of cash or the payment from this particular supplier. So you create a receipt in your Oracle receivable models. So same here, once your cycle is complete, you are supposed to close all the process, and once it's done, you're going through the cash management, where it's going to again verify like what are the products you have supplied to the customers and what is the amount you received. So it's going to match and it's going to work out in the cash management modules. And once everything is done, you'll be pushing the data into general ledger. That is where you're finally going to get the balance sheet of your industry, that is the profit or the loss, right? So let's go through the orders to the procure to pay, like how the procure to pay the cycle happens, right? In the very first way, it's you can only buy a product only if there is a requirement, if there is a demand, maybe from your employees or maybe from your manufacturing department, whatever it is, right? So, or it may be from the customer who is demanding, he wants this type of raw materials. For example, if I consider you want to manufacture laptops, maybe 1,000 laptops you want to manufacture in 1 year. So you need a raw material, something like you cannot manufacture yourself the motherboard or the processors or the screen you have in your laptop, right? So you may be getting imported from different suppliers, like maybe the Intel will supply you the processor, or Windows 8 processors provide you the software, or the whatever it is, the way you think. So you need to have the raw materials for that. Or for if you're thinking you are manufacturing a car, so you'll be requiring the tires or the steering, which you may not be manufacturing in your industry. So the tires you want to buy from the vendor. So you need to you need to put up a requisition that it will be like the way you go and do the online buying, maybe in Amazon or maybe in the Flipkart. The same way there will be a forums for the very high-end industries, the suppliers or customers, where you go and put up your requisition that I need the following items by these dates. So let me know which all suppliers can provide me these my requirement. So once this equation is put up in the forum, you get a lot of the quotations from the suppliers, like, yeah, I have these many items with this particular day, I can provide you in this particular day, and I can promise you, and this is the cost of my particular product. So you will receive maybe the tens or 20 or hundreds of the quotations from hundreds of suppliers. So you are supposed to choose, you will suppose the few of them or one of them is finally, okay, this is the perfect supplier for me as based on the cost and the promise of his materials, and will save a lot of time because he is maybe the only the closest supplier to my inventory, right? So once you choose the quotation, then you will receive the you're going to create a purchase order out of this quotation, because you have hundreds of quotations here from the suppliers, and you will choose one of the quotation. From that quotation you are going to create a purchase order. That is, finally you choose on one of the supplier, like ABC supplier, that you want all the items from that particular supplier. So once you can create a purchase order directly from a quotation which are already received. So once you create a purchase order, then it will go for an approval from your manager, that whatever the purchase order you have created for the manufacturing industry, the manager will look into it and he sees, okay, all is perfect, and once he approves it, automatically the information will go to the supplier. So supplier will get a confirmation by sending you a purchase order. For the supplier, it will be a sales order. So he will receive and he will do the manufacturing of the product, and he will keep all the items ready, and he will do the shipping of the product. So once you receive the shipment, so you will have receive. That is, here the receive comes not as creating receipts, it's the materials what you're going to receive. That is, once he sends the goods to your the inventory, you're going to see that what all the products he has sent, whether everything is in good conditions, and what is the quantity you requested, and whether did he send the exact quantity, or he is going to send as an installment, like he's going to send today the 100, and maybe another 1 week he's going to send me another 100. So maybe that's a way he's sending. So you need to receive the items whatever has been sent to, because it's been come as a transport. You may not be 100% aware like what is the quantity is going to come, and he'll be sending his invoice through the person who has done the transportation, right? So once you receive the goods, you are going to create the receipt for the goods you received. So once you receive the goods, you are supposed to pay the amount to the suppliers. So then what you do is you're going to the AP payables, and you're going to create an invoice out of it, and you're going to finally pay the money for the supplier. So you may pay the money to supplier maybe through the bank, or you may pay it directly through cash, or any mode, like you may directly provide a check to him, right? So whenever you see the procure to pay is like you're going to procure something from the supplier, finally you're going to pay to the whatever you procured from the supplier. So that's the cycle, the procure to pay, right? So when it comes to order to cash, it's a just opposite side. Like till now in the procure to pay, yourself, you are a customer because you have brought raw materials from the supplier, right? You are the customer. So in order to cash, it's like you're the supplier, like you're manufacturing the cars, so you're going to provide the customers the finally finished and the ready to drive the vehicle, right? So you're going to receive an order maybe from a particular dealer, like he want 100 cars in next 6 months, right? So that's the order. The very important information, as I say, like you send a purchase order to the supplier, please provide me this. The same way the customer will send you an order, like I want this version of cars of maybe the 50 or 100 in the next 6 months. So once you receive the order, that is nothing but you get only order once you're only the organization, you're already registered that particular customer, right? This happens just not as an ad hoc the way it happens in the normal shops. You just go, you just buy and you just pay. It's not happens in that way. It is not a simple it's not just you're buying one item and just go. It's not that. It's a user organization. You need to have a process. So whenever you are doing a business with any customer, the customer should be registered in your organization. Like he should be authorized. Like what kind of customer is he? Is he loyal to you? Is he going to pay your money properly, or he is doing he do you have faith on him? So you're going to validate every information of the customer, then you're going to do accept the orders, right? So that is another part of it. So let's not get into deep into that. So think that the customer is very loyal and he's been there for you for the last 5 years. So he has put up an order. So once he puts up an order, you're going to see all the information. You'll see whether the whether you can whatever the promise that you have provided to him, whether you can fulfill or not. If not, you want to modify any changes, you can modify. So once you modify, then you're going to book that order. That means once you click on a book, it's like, okay, you're sending that information to manufacturing industry that yes, we have received this particular order from the customer, so please get ready and get the products finished. So once your product is ready, like they are going to keep in a finished good. That is where a truck or lorry can pick that item. That is nothing but a pick release. So if we hear the pick release word, is something where your particular product or item is completely finished. Like if you're thinking of the car, it's like everything is completed, the painting is done, the test drive is done, the testing is done, everything is done. So it's just in the ready in the inventory, the finished inventory, where it's ready to be picked and shipped. So it is at that place they call it as a pick release. That is, it is ready for the picking for the customer, right? Once it is ready, the person is maintaining that inventory. He will get a vehicle or he will have a transport for the shipping that particular product, right? So once the product is taken and it's been shipped to the customer, he will get a confirmation from the customer that yes, thank you, I have received the product which I ordered. Thank you very much. So once you receive this acknowledgement from the customer, so you are going to create an invoice which he need to be paid for you, right? So what is the amount? So you would be sending maybe with a truck driver itself the invoice, or you might be doing through the email or whatever the communication you are comfortable, right? So once you create invoice and send to him, so he's going to pay to you. So once he pays, you're going to create a receipt and provide that yes, I have received this much of amount from you as an acknowledgement. Or you want to keep, you're supposed to keep yourself right. What is the product you sold and how much is the amount you have received? That will be entered in the receivables. So you create a receipt. Here it is, receipt is actual for money, and here whatever the receipt you received, this is the receipt for receiving the goods. So do not get confused. Okay, so based on, you just put up yourself in the shoes of if you're as a supplier or as a customer, so you will easily understand this process. There will not be any confusion, right? So there's also something like drop shipment, which is very famous because this is something where it's like you should consider not just as supplier or customer, consider yourself as something like agent or a dealer. Like you do not manufacture anything and you're not the customer. So what you do is you join hands with a supplier and a customer. It's like you are the one who are here. Think that you're a dealer. You're a dealer of the vehicle, car. So you will put up yourself that I can get you a number of cars or models. It's like nothing but a showroom you see anywhere in the city. It's like they are not the persons who will be manufacturing any vehicles, but they will have a deal with the supplier, like whenever whatever the quantity of the vehicles you request, so the supplier going to supply to you. So that's the way. What you're going to do is you're going to get a request from the customer, right? So you receive orders from the customer. Then what you do is, once you receive the order from customer, you're going to put an order, the purchase order, to the supplier, that I have received the order for a particular model car, the ABC car. So you will ask the supplier what you can provide me. So with that information, you're going to tell your customer that your vehicle will be ready on this particular day. So here the only problem is, the difference what you would be seeing is the vehicle, whatever the product, will not come to you. It's not coming to you at all. It's what is happening is you're going to provide address of the direct customer, which the supplier itself directly do a shipment of the customer. He's not involved in any of the financial things. He's just going to do a shipping of the product to the whatever customer location you mentioned. If you see here, you're saving the shipping charge, because if in the normal way, what should happen is supplier do a shipment to you, and you should keep in one of the inventory, and then you should have a transportation to provide to the customer, right? So you are saving here the lot of money for not maintaining the inventory, and you're not doing the transportation, so you're saving so much money here. So that's where, and you're not in any of the loss, because you're not just taking any orders and keeping in your inventory, and if it is not so, you may get into a loss. Or if it's in a good market, anyway, you can always get from supplier and you can push it to the customers. So this is the one which is famous across for most of the dealers or who do not own the actual business. So this is the way it happens. So this is called a drop shipment. Drop shipment is nothing but you're going to drop, like you're going to have a virtual shipping process in your process, because you're not doing any shipping to actually customer. The supplier is doing the shipping. Okay. So just if it's too much confusion, you can always just go through the flow chart. Like once order is entered, you want to know whether it is dropship or no, right? If it is no, then what you're going to do is you're going to schedule till what day your order will be ready, and you're going to inform your manufacturer to like, please ship this particular product to the customer. Then you're going to create a normal invoice and you'll close this order. But if it is a drop, you will request internally for supplier to provide the product directly to the customer. So he will do the shipment, and he'll just provide you that as it is shipped. The ship confirmation you are going to get. You are not going to do any process of pick-release or shipping or nothing, right? So once you are done, directly you are going to have this process. So you are not doing any shipping process. So how are you going to recognize the real orders, whatever you see in the EBS, is the very first thing is in the orders. If you go to the shipping tab, there is the source type, right? So if you go and see there, if you see something source type as external, that means this particular item, whatever the item is not manufactured by you. It's not been recorded as, it's not been kept, or it's not in part of your inventory item. You're going to store that particular product in inventory, even though you manufacture or does not manufacture, right? So then you will see there is another tab called dropship. Then you will see if there is any purchase order associated. That is whatever the order you created for the supplier, right? The internal one. So you will be tracking in the same order line that, okay, whether whatever the requested customer did I put up to the supplier, and supplier did he agree? Yes, if he's agreed, then you will see this particular record there, right? So that means they will going to ship the particular product to the customer. So what you will see, the main difference here is when you have a purchase order screen, you will have a ship to here. But whatever ship to you see here is not the one which you're going to supply the product. The ship to what you see here is your inventory location. But if you go and see the actual distribution level, if you go and see the shipment level, the actual ship to the address is different. Here if you see the address is like 2391 Yale store, and if you see here the ship to is M1 City. So from here, this way you can find out, okay, this particular order is not from my unity, it's not from my inventory, it is the one which is part of the dropship. Okay, so there is something called the availability promise, is another cycle where, or you can say something like a logic which you are going to provide. Like if any order comes to you, you're a supplier, and the customer comes and he tells, I want 50 laptops, can you provide in 15 days? So you cannot just tell in a go, right, oh, I have 100 people and we can manufacture one day 15, yes, I can provide you in 1 week. So you cannot tell that, because you will have hundreds of orders and you need to know, is there any stock in your inventory and how much is the demand, like how many people have ordered already, and based on that you're going to provide a promise to him that, you know, have already 100 laptops have been ordered and have been reserved, so I think it will take you at least 10 days to provide you the whatever the demand you have. So it doesn't happen just in a go, like you cannot just at that moment just call to the manufacturer like, can you manufacture 100 laptops, 50 laptops in 5 days. It's not it's a very big way. So what it does is, in your system already there is a setup like how much time it will take for manufacturing one laptop, and how many laptops will be manufactured in your manufacturing unit in a per day, and how many are there actually in your inventory, like available to ship it, how many are not yet being ordered, and how many are already ordered and how many are reserved. So based on all that, like you're going to calculate the promise date. So this is one of the cycle where you'll come across. Just to hit a little bit to show the technical part of it. So I'm just covering the order to cash cycle, like what all happens, like when you create a sales order, it's going to hit your headers tables and lines tables with the status as entered. So once you click on the book, the order is, that is nothing but the order whatever you receive the order, you're confirming that yes, I'm going to fulfill your order. So that's where once you click on book, that means automatically the information will go to the manufacturing unity and they're going to do the manufacturing, right? So once it is done and as the manufacturing is completed and ready to deliver, so the status keep changing and the tables it keep hitting, right? So once it is, once you book an order, you're going to have a reservation on that orders. Like if you already have items in your inventory, you're going to reserve those. Okay, these 50 laptops are worth this order. So you're going to book those and you're going to reserve, so that whatever promise that you're given, so on that day you're going to supply those, right? So you cannot mix up just like somebody comes and you just give something. It's not a general shop, as I said. So you always need to have like, whoever orders first, you're going to supply to him. Who is a prime customer, you're going to supply to him first. And whatever the laptops you reserve for the particular supplier, you're supposed to supply only those, right? Then only your organization runs properly and you'll be able to keep it up, the visualization of how much is the production, how much is the availability, how much is the order, what is the market. So based on that, you are going to update the demand and the reservations, right? So once your product is been informed to manufacturing unity and they are manufactured and they're ready and they're kept in a ready to pick the inventory, and you are going to do the pick release. So in the actual business, it's going to update the order lines table, that is once it's been picked to that means once it is picked and put in the track, that means it is picked. So you can visualize as a general, as a industry levels, once everything is packed and you're just putting inside the truck, that means it's been picked from the inventory and it's been put in truck. So that particular scenario is considered as a pick release, right? So during the time it's going to hit the TXN request headers and lines, and there's transaction temporary tables, that is how the materials keep moving from pick to the pick release and pick release to the shipping, and based on that these MTL, MTT or MMTT tables are going to be updated, right? So once the pick confirmed, that is once you put loaded everything in the truck and the truck starts move out of from you, that means it is pick is confirmed. That is already everything is picked and you're pushed in the truck, and that particular scenario you want to consider as yes, all your orders the request by customer has been released from your inventory, that is you pushed it. So it's only the next part is the shipping. So how the shipping happens, and once your truck reached the destination and it's been handed over to the customer, then you get a confirmation from the customer. That means at that moment you call it as ship confirm. That is where your order lines is going to be, it's going to be hit as shipped, right? You will see here the particular table is going to be shipped. The status of that table will be shipped, right? So that's the end of that particular cycle, and then you're going to create, and whatever the invoice created, you're going to create a cycle. So usually the complete ordering cycles I've just covered, just to know that what all tables it's going to hit and what is the status at what moment. Alright, so as a general you will come across the following these tables. For the procure to pay or order to cash, especially the requisition tables will come for procure to pay, where the whatever information, whatever requisition you create, it will be stored in pure requisition headers and lines level, and the distribution table will tell you that the supplier which location you want your whatever the requested the product to be placed. Like you maybe having the office in the New York, but your inventory is in Chicago, so you want all the items to be distributed or to be sent to be shipped to that particular place. So you're going to mention that, like if you order 50 laptops, you want 10 in one office, 20 in another office, so you want to distribute that way. Even that information can be seen in this. The same information whatever is in requisition, once it's all finalized, you're going to create a purchase order out of it. So purchase order will have almost everything same, the distribution, but additionally will have the line location is like exact location where the order need to be shipped, right? So as I said, the receipt here is the receiving of the items whatever you ordered, right? So that will hit the RCV shipment headers and lines, and the transactions like whether he has supplied the complete items or he's going to do in the multiple ways. So whatever the information that you're going to have in these tables, right? Then once you receive the amount, you're going to pay to him. So that's why you create an invoice and you create like how you're going to pay to him, whether in a one shot you're going to pay him, or whether you pay as an EMI, or you pay in a, like you would pay in advance. You'd have paid like when you put up an order, the supplier requested I take order only if you have do me an advance, because that's a confirmation I wanted. So you would have paid the amount as an advance, and whatever remaining amount you want to pay now, so which is the due date you're supposed to pay, you will have that. Based on that you're going to release the checks or the payments, that based on whatever the invoice you created. So once you're done that, then everything get reconciled, like based on, and whatever the payments you do as the industries, you always do the payments or receive the payments through the banks. You never try to do anything with a direct, because that will not help you. If you are doing a direct, it will be difficult for you while doing the audition, right? So when you have the bank as an involvement, automatically your whole business is auditioned, and any issues or anything happens with the particular customers, he's not paying you, that even the bank can take a responsibility of it. So all that is done, then you will have a, it will transfer to the GL all the informations once everything is done. And so the GL as a journal, like once your order or your payment everything is completed, your payment you're done, and then invoice is closed, and after that the whatever purchase order you have created, so you're going to close that. So all the information will go to the GL, so as a journal. So once it goes, then you can get the actual reports, like okay, how many what business I have done in this particular area, like what's the profit or loss you're going to get. So from these you're going to get the reports, right? So I have just put up few links like where you can get a more information on these order to cash cycles, the more depth way. Like if you're not happy with just the basics, you always can get into. There are lot many sites like where you can really get each information, maybe technical way or functional way, right? So hope I think you people uh,